Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No. Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. 'Cause I've been blessed.
Welcome to DBL. That's obviously Coolio's hit song Gangster Paradise from the movie Dangerous Minds. Sadly, I saw this yesterday on my phone. I was like, wow. The rapper who was born artist Leon Ivy Jr. died yesterday at the age of 59. He was found on the floor of a friend's bathroom, but it's still unclear how he died. So according to TMZ, no drugs or any signs of foul play were discovered at the home. The song Gangster's Paradise won a Grammy back in 1996. Over the summer, it reached 1 billion views on YouTube and has been streamed 1 billion times on Spotify. Dangerous Minds star Michelle Pfeiffer credits Coolio's song for the movie's success. I agree with her, writing, "I remember him being nothing but gracious. 30 years later, I still get chills when I hear the song." And fellow rapper Snoop Dogg shared a pic of the two, writing,
That's a great
R.I.P. Coolio. That is a really cool
What a
pic.
great picture.
And before we get to it, Vanilla Ice just posted something right now. Him performing with Coolio just last week. This was 1 week ago. So, you know, I'm glad we're not speculating if there was drugs involved, but we're thinking maybe cardiac arrest at this point. I don't want to speculate, but the news was shocking when I saw it on my phone. It's just sometimes you get those moments, right? And I was like, Coolio died?
Yeah, it's a part of your childhood.
Right,
It's a part
definitely
of,
mine.
I mean, for me, growing up, you know, losing Shock G, Digital Underground,
Yeah.
Humpty Hump Dance, you know, and then Coolio is such a young man at 59.
Yeah.
So young.
But, you know, it just shows you, like, how powerful that song was. I mean, we live in a world now where hip-hop is just ingrained in our culture. But at that point, hip-hop was kind of like this urban music that had its own box. And that song really helped to continue to bridge that gap to get to where we are now. So that song is like really a pillar of hip-hop and how it relates to America and how it relates to pop culture because it's tied into a movie.
Yes, and I think it's, for all of us, a soundtrack of some time in our high school years.
Yes.
That was the sound you played over and over and over again. And I would sit just like Michelle Pfeiffer with my legs over the chair backwards.
Like the cool substitute teacher?
Yeah, like
Yes.
with my black leather jacket. And it was, without that song in that movie, I don't know if we'd still remember Dangerous Minds.
I don't think so.
Well, you wouldn't, and you know, no, you wouldn't.
You're right.
I'm
No,
just
it
being
was part of
very
it.
honest. And also, you have to look at the aesthetics of that video. Look at the aesthetics of that movie. You have Michelle Pfeiffer, a white blonde woman, and Coolio. And you have all of these black and brown people. I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer has been a coveted, you know, like revered actress for 30, 40 years at this
Most of her
point.
life, yeah.
So the idea that these two people coming from two different places in our, you know, American culture and coming together in this way, I remember seeing like the appearance of that. It was something that made people like notice.
Yeah, you remembered that.
Yes.
Jeff, you're a hip-hop fan. What'd you think?
1996. That
Right.
song came out. That's when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that song is just like right
It's
there.
tied into those
So when I hear
memories.
that song, it just brings me back. The things I was doing when I was listening to that song, maybe we leave off the show.
Right.
I remember.
Because I was 18?
Yeah, you were good. We know you were cutting up. I remember this dude, Antoine, who had this big boom box, and this was like past boom box phase, right? He had a big boom box, and he would walk down the hallway playing this song. And it was like, first of all, are we allowed to do that? But he would do it every single day in the hallway, and then it turned into Crossroads.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in Harmony.
Great
Yeah.
song.
Shout out to Cleveland.
Cavs.
There you go, buddy.
East
All right, we're going
99.
to switch gears here a little bit. It's been 4 months, which I can't even believe, since the end of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I thought it was like last week.
I know.
We talked about it so much. That defamation trial. Now there's a TV movie based on the trial coming out tomorrow on Tubi. Let's watch.
No one should have to go through this.
I'm so tired of this. I can't keep doing it. This trial, it's about the truth.
I did tell the truth.
I have the right to say what happened to me.
You listen to her lies, her allegations.
Your Honor, may we introduce the next tape?
Allegations. The movie did its best to recreate actual scenes from the trial, like this shot of Johnny leaving court. All right, not bad, not bad. And here's the actress playing Amber Heard and the real-life Amber Heard on the stand.
Tori, did she pass the Tori test? You need to.
The voice, first of all, not really, but the voice on that Johnny Depp guy was really accurate. If you just closed your eyes, it was good.
The allegations.
Allegations, you must listen. Here's my thing. We're in hyper warp speed with our reactions to things, am I right? Something happens, we have a TV movie about it already. No one has yet to really reflect on what that meant to the pop culture, what it meant to the Me Too movement, because Amber Heard was so seen in that, what it meant to men and women, Johnny Depp's career. We don't have time yet to sit and see what that did. We're already making Tubi movies about it. So to me, this isn't something I'm interested in seeing, because what I'd like to see is the reflection of how the culture changed because of this trial. It has. And I don't think this will do anything but just recreate it.
So you want to wait a year to when people don't care anymore?
Well, yeah, well, it's twofold, because I agree with you, Tori. I think that we don't know what the fallout is. We don't know what the actual impact of pop culture of all this is. But what we do know is the reason why it's being turned around so quickly is because this was a reality TV show. And as someone who listens to recaps and watches recaps of reality TV, shout out to Watch What Crappens.
And I was going to say what Erica's watching, the show you do.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a reenactment. Thank you. What Erica's watching, Watch What Crappens, where they do reenactments the night of or the next day. And that's what we're seeing right now with real events that are happening in real time.
Yeah, I don't know if you could, because like you mentioned, it's kind of like a reality show, right? So why base another play, if you will, off of the reality show?
It feels like the exact same thing.
They're just pushing it out. But I mean, it's on Tubi.
For it.
Is there? I think it's going to be flushed down to Tubi.
There is a market. Trust me, I do not miss an episode of this particular podcast that reviews every single Bravo show, and they do the same reenactments every single point they make. And I just watched the show maybe 12 hours ago, and I'm listening to the podcast like cannot get enough, because I want to like hear what their interpretation of it was.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
There's
sense.
a market. And it's me.
I mean, you just look at the sheer internet numbers. I mean, they were astronomical. So there's clearly still a market. And I think, to your point, Tori, I agree with you to an extent, but we have such a short memory.
No, I
mean, people, I'm sure PR people tell you, no matter what happened in your career, DUI, whatever, you know, give it 3 days. It'll be fine. So, I mean, this is going to have a little bit longer shelf life. But after a month, people will be like, Johnny, who?
I just wish there was more of a reflection of what it. I wish to see this longer in the future, done by more serious, speaking about what actually happened in the
it will be.
I think it will be too.
Is it that big of a deal? OJ kind of changed America. So they recreate that. That you want to see how it impacted different people, different cultures. Who cares? Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, accusations. Who cares?
Well, we the people did.
I just reenacted it. You think that's going to hit 1 billion views?
Probably.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't.
Actually, now I'm all in because Tori's not. So I'm really going to dedicate myself to the.
Good luck.
We'll be right back. No. I got to do the tease. Welcome back. When you come back, we talk with Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, her advice on hustling to get ahead in life, and Shania Twain talks about having dinner with Oprah back in the day. Find out the one topic that made things a little awkward, kind of like Tori on the panel during the conversation.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. 'Cause I've been blasted.
Hey, just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're made of this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over.
Yeah, rappers are dropping off. I don't know if it's just entertainers, but it just seems like rappers in general, like from that generation. I don't know if it's, you know, you see the kind of guys that men and women have changed their life. You look, you know, they became parents, Salt and Pepper, that kind of stuff. But, you know, I do look at guys like Shock G that unfortunately passed away. It looks like there was, you know, some intoxicants in the system. And it's just, I think it's hard to turn that off, Cobb. I think it's hard to go from being on top and doing tours with a young Tupac, to then your kind of day is past. You know,
If
I wonder,
you-
like mentally, almost like a pro athlete.
Yeah, I think also in that genre specifically, in terms like hip hop and rap, there is a very strong focus on keeping it real. And I wonder sometimes if keeping it real means that you are limited in the ability to reinvent yourself. Because if you reinvent yourself, then you're not staying
Then
true
who are you?
to where you come from. And the truth is, like, for every elevation, there has to be a reinvention of some sort, because you can't really live the life that from whence you came, where you are in this like pop culture or stardom, or both money and fame. You have to be able to reinvent yourself. And we don't know what happened with Coolio. We can talk about some other artists that you referred to earlier.
Well, I was going to say, I was reading an article about Snoop Dogg, and he said that it was really interesting. He said that he did a brief reality show on BET called Snoop Dad or Snoop's in the House, Snoop's House, or something like that. It was a reality show about his family. I don't know how long it did, maybe a couple seasons, but what he said is it allowed him to transition from gangster to like, I'm a dad that coaches football with my
Don't you
son.
think Martha helped with that too? I feel like that was such a...
No, he added her.
He
didn't add him.
You don't think oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
like
they really like each other.
Welcome back. Shania Twain is dishing on a dinner she had with Oprah back in the day. So apparently the conversation took a turn after Shania brought up religion with Oprah. And here's what Shania said on the Table Manners podcast. Watch.
It was just great to just sit and have real talks, but as soon as we started talking about religion, it all went sour. Everyone always says never talk about politics or religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just wasn't debatable. There was no room for debate. And I like to debate. Canadians like to debate about it, debate everything. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to change subject.
So Erica, you're pretty proper. What do you do?
I am?
Yeah, I would say so. I just would leave. Like, I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. That's in my head. So what do you do if someone brings up religion, sex, the money, politics at a social event?
I think it depends on the context of the event. First of all, I will agree with her. Canadians do like to debate. I'm married to one, and that's all we do. No, or maybe it's me. It's probably me. I think that in certain circles, I've been in situations where it's very open. Anything is open for discussion.
With your friends.
Right, or with people who are just like-minded, like not necessarily people who I'm
You mean just
close
strangers
to.
at a social event? Because I feel like they're trying to get me
But
if they're doing that.
If we're breaking bread together, we're not strangers.
Okay. So, but you're more friends.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're at someone's dinner table, it's like unless there's something, and my dad has done this, and I didn't know how I felt about it, but I would probably adopt this, where we were at dinner and someone brought up politics, and they were someone who was invited, and he said, we're not going to have this discussion at this table. Like, we're actually not going to have this discussion at all. And it was a very abrupt thing, but I appreciate that he did that, because once you go past someone's limitations, how do you come back from that?
Yeah. You want to set a boundary. We live across the street from a really wonderful Palestinian, and we have long discussions about, or used to, Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and that can get really heated really fast. So we just made a rule. No more talking about it. Just no more discussion, because the friendship meant too much. At this point, I think dinner parties are about like weather, sports teams, but there's a lot of other things you can't bring up, like, are you going to have a baby? Are you going to get all those questions? Also, I think, should be off the table at a dinner party.
But why waste your time with someone, Al, when you know these things are off the table, you know they have a different perspective, you're almost scared walking on eggshells, which I am a lot of the times. Unless I'm around my circle, like Erica always says, I'd rather not even be in your circle, because I'm scared, because if I bring up a challenging topic, now all of a sudden I get this label put on me. I'm not down with that.
Yeah, it's terrible, especially for somebody that loves the art of discussion and the art of bickering. I like to I feel like when I argue with somebody or even bicker with them, I'm always joking, but I like to do that, because when what you say back to me, I get to understand how your mind works and how your thinking works. It's probably not about the topic. I'm just probably more interested in you and your thought process. So it's frustrating when we just have to talk about the weather, but that's where we are in 2022.
All right.
Not at my dinner table.
Yeah, we go hard.
We'll be right back.
It's important.
The National Hurricane Center said Hurricane Ian brought life-threatening storm surge when it came ashore in Florida, leading to flooding in many parts of the state. While many people in the storm's path have traditional homeowners or renters insurance, some policies may not help rebuild after a flood. So, let's verify. Do homeowners and renters insurance policies typically cover flood damage from hurricanes? Our sources are the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Insurance Information Institute, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and insurance companies Allstate and Amica. Homeowners insurance is a way to repair or rebuild your home after something bad happens. Homeowners insurance, along with renters, also helps cover the cost to replace your belongings. Typically, when you buy a policy, the insurance companies will give you a detailed list of events that they cover, or tell you you're covered for all events except those they specifically exclude. All of our sources say standard homeowners and renters policies typically exclude coverage for flooding. Allstate says this includes flooding brought on by or as a result of a hurricane. So, no, homeowners and renters insurance policies do not typically cover flood damage from hurricanes. Instead, you can purchase separate flood insurance from a private company or a policy that's backed by FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. These policies usually require you to purchase them at least 30 days before they take effect. If you didn't buy coverage ahead of time, FEMA also offers some assistance to people who live in areas that receive a presidential disaster declaration. However, Florida's emergency management warns the average payout to Florida residents from FEMA is usually only about $5,000, which may not be enough for repairs. This compares to claims filed by people with separate flood insurance who receive an average of $29,000. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. Her success started as a waitress in New Jersey, and now she's serving as sharp-tongued shark who's invested in more than 80 companies. Businesswoman Barbara Corcoran joined us earlier to tell us about season 14 of Shark Tank and some really good advice. Take a look. Hi, Barbara. I wanted to ask you specifically, we've talked about this on the show between us, quiet quitting. We've all kind of heard it. It's a trend where employees just sort of do the bare minimum to get by. And I would love to know your take as a business owner and a shark. Is that something that concerns you? Do you understand it? What do you feel?
I understand it fully. Yes, you know, people quiet quit when they're not motivated, when they're feeling overworked and they feel undervalued. And that's the boss's fault. I know a lot more bad bosses than I've met bad employees, let me tell you that. And any good boss knows that you can win people's hearts and their loyalty if you just show them appreciation, have their interests totally at heart, and watch their back. That's really all it takes. And when that happens, you don't have employees asleep at the desk. It just doesn't happen.
Wow.
Nope.
Interesting.
All right, well, I'm going to get in trouble with my producers because I have a personal question I want to ask you really quickly.
You're not going to pitch me now, are you?
I'm going to ask you a question. Hopefully a lot of people in the country, around the country have the same question. If you have a business and you put the kind of pieces around it and you want to launch, but you're not sure, like when, is there a moment where you know, like, I'm ready to go to market with this?
Yeah. The moment was yesterday when you first thought about it. You know, the problem with a lot of people getting launching is they just spend so much time planning for what might go wrong, what they have to do. There's something very different and magical that happens when you just launch and get out there. You find out in the streets what's wrong with your business. You discover your real business plan. And you could actually make the adjustments immediately versus studying it. No, that's too much education, not enough action, and that's never a successful entrepreneur. That doesn't happen, though.
Thank you, and Lila, let's get to you. You started working when you were 11, and you had 20 jobs before the age of 23. Why was being a waitress one of your favorite jobs?
Well, because waitressing taught me more than any other job, and I waitressed for so many companies, and I, of course, had very many different positions, but that taught me the most. It taught me how to hustle. Taught me how to get along with anybody who would sit at my counter. It taught me that if I did a really great job, I made a lot more money in the form of tips. It taught me everything I needed to know about selling. When I built my real estate business, it was a sales company, and I walked into it at 23, started it, and I knew everything about sales.
Wow.
Barbara, I'm getting very inspired here. I'm loving your answers.
She's standing.
Yeah, it's just everything about you is boss. I love you. I love the show. First time caller. But season 14 of Shark Tank kicked off, Barbara, with a live studio audience. Now, we don't have a live studio audience with us here, but how did that change the show for you? Because I know it would definitely change our show.
Yeah, let me tell you, it was absolutely bonkers, would be the best word. We lost total control of the set as sharks. We lost it right from the get-go. There were 3 sharks, for example, biting at one boogie grabber business, something that we weren't usually excited about. But the crowds were cheering. They were shouting, "Take her deal, take her deal," chanting like that. And I took that deal. The entrepreneur took my deal, and I doubly paid for the business. I wish I could do it over again. The excitement caught us all up. We forgot we were there as business people. We just wanted to be part of the gang. We went crazy. Yeah.
You got
Just
pressured
crazy.
into buying something.
I know. Okay, this is really fun. Okay, so we had Mark Cuban on the show just a couple of days ago, and he said that you were not as great as a dancer as you thought.
Robert's got no rhythm. Barbara, I'm not even going to talk about, but I can dance.
So what's something you think he's not so good at?
I hear he's not a good lover. And I'd rather be a lover than a dancer, wouldn't you?
Wow, Barbara going in hard.
He deserved that. That guy deserves that for saying that about me.
Oh, yeah? Good for you. Yep. Thank you so much, Barbara. We appreciate you. We can catch Shark Tank Friday nights on ABC. That's right. And if you have a business question, call 888-BARBARA, and she might answer your question on her Business Unusual podcast. We'll be right back.
That was great, Barbara. Thank you.
Great. Fabulous.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
As people in Florida braced for the impact of Hurricane Ian on September 27th, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn criticized President Biden for allegedly making comments about getting vaccinated ahead of the storm hitting land. Other people on social media shared similar sentiments, along with this video clip of President Biden advising people in hurricane-prone areas like Florida to get vaccinated.
A vital part of preparing for hurricane season is to get vaccinated now. Everything is more complicated if you're not vaccinated and a hurricane or a natural disaster hits.
While the message is from the president, it isn't recent. Here are the sources we used. Verify traced the original video to Biden's August 10th, 2021 briefing with the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the COVID-19 response teams. A transcript of Biden's comments from that briefing provides more context to the clip. The president said, quote, "If you wind up having to evacuate, if you wind up having to stay in a shelter, you don't want to add COVID-19 to the list of dangers that you're going to be confronting," unquote. On September 27th, during an address on Medicare costs and Social Security, Biden discussed Hurricane Ian, but didn't mention COVID-19 vaccinations.
My administration is on alert and in action to help the people of Florida. I've approved Florida's request for emergency assistance immediately upon receiving it from the governor.
There was also no mention of the COVID-19 vaccine in the White House fact sheet on how the administration is preparing to help those affected by Hurricane Ian. So we can verify, no. Biden didn't tell people in the path of Hurricane Ian to get vaccinated. The video is from 2021 and is being shared out of context. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. President Biden signed an executive order allowing the Federal Reserve to explore the possibility of creating a centralized bank digital currency in the United States. Some people on social media have claimed that that executive order would make paper money worthless. Verify reader Jerry emailed the team to ask if President Biden's executive order would replace paper money with digital currency. So let's verify. Our sources are Executive Order 14067, the Federal Reserve, the Atlantic Council, a nonpartisan U.S. think tank, and Aaron Klein, Senior Fellow in Economic Studies at the Brookings Institute. President Biden's executive order does not have anything to do with paper money. It asks the Federal Reserve to figure out how to create a central bank digital currency. The digital money that you're used to, the ones with credit card purchases or transactions on apps like Venmo or Zelle, well, those are managed by commercial banks, not the federal government. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are also considered digital currencies, but they aren't issued or backed by a central bank. That wouldn't change under this executive order. Economics expert Aaron Klein confirmed to Verify that there is nothing in the executive order that ends or eliminates cash either. In a press release, the Fed said that a central bank digital currency could provide faster payment options between countries and safe digital payment options for households and businesses. The government has not yet decided whether to create a central bank digital currency. It's just asked the Fed to look into what it would take to create one. So we can verify that no, Biden's executive order does not replace paper money with digital currency. Around 100 countries, apart from the US, are already exploring national digital currencies. According to the Atlantic Council, Jamaica and Nigeria have already started offering centralized digital currencies. Both of those countries still have paper money. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
It's Thursday, and I know you guys will love these deals, so get ready to shop.
Steph, I got an itch and the only scratch is to shop. What do we got?
Hi, Tori. Hey, DBL Nation. I'm so excited to show you what we've got today. I've got the Martino by Martino Cartier Powerball Hairdryer. If you've got arthritis, this is going to make drying your hair so much easier because it fits in the palm of your hand.
Wow.
And this model was only made for a limited run, and we've got the green light to offer it at an exclusively low price that you will not find anywhere else. And it's Morning Save's first time featuring the product on television. Normally, Tori, it's $89, but we've got it for just $24.99, saving everyone 72%.
What a great price for such a helpful product.
Now, Tori, we've got a Diamond Muse 14-carat gold-plated diamond accent bracelet.
Wow.
So this deal includes one bracelet, which we've got available in 3 styles. Normally these are $100 each, but we've got them for $19.99, saving everyone 80%.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting the elephant one ×5.
Next up, we've got Live Pro AccuLux Shiatsu foot massager with heat. So this deal includes one foot massager that will give you a deep tissue massage to comfort those aching feet. We quickly sold out of this last time. Quantities are limited, and this is the lowest price we've ever featured this massager on television. Normally these are $225, but we've got them for $69.99, saving everyone 69%.
That's like when you're putting your feet up and you realize you've done good savings.
For our last product today, we've got the Homedics Hot and Cold Gel Eye Mask.
Oh, I need this.
So this will give you headache and tension relief for true relaxation. Normally, this is $38, but we've got it for just $14.99. That saves everyone at home 61%.
To have that cold at night to go to bed on.
Exactly.
Beautiful and great saving. Head on over, everyone, to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even go ahead and scan that QR code you see on screen. It's going to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Steph, thank you so much.
Do any of you guys like use those blinders, like when you know, like to cover your eyes when you go to sleep, like in the movies?
Absolutely not. Do you know I sit and get my lashes done every other week?
Oh, so that doesn't work.
I definitely do.
You do?
And I need I need the thick kind. Do you like the? I want them real thick and big and right. I don't want to see any light.
Yeah, dude, it's got to be blacked out.
Why don't y'all just get curtains?
Do you have robe or some kind of jammies?
I have jammies, but it does look a little bizarre. But I like it. Like they said, they're for people with arthritis. Like it's like the really thick kind. Someone else say something.
I don't have that kind.
Arthritis or cataracts?
Both.
Right. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.